You might not have to wait too much longer if you were hoping to get the full self-driving beta on your Tesla, because Elon says with version 8.2 it's getting more mature, it's getting wiser, it's making better decisions, so they will be doubling the beta size, which last month Elon mentioned that there were over 1,000 people using the FSD beta today, so this could potentially mean we surpass 2,000 users within the next few weeks, and now he's mentioning that once version 8.3 is out, which apparently has like around 1,000 improvements, this is supposed to be way more ironed out, a lot more safe, and a lot more reliable. They actually expect to 10x the number of people on the beta. So you've been thinking we've been seeing a lot of footage or a lot of reports about how the full self-driving beta is performing today. A channel I recommend you guys watch for updates is Dirty Tesla. He does a great job covering the full self-driving beta in the snow, in tough conditions. He drives around in a lot of places where a car and a human would probably get pretty confused. So highly recommend you check him out. And I would say most of the FSD beta videos that are done in more sunny climates or in places where road markings are a lot easier to see, it's doing incredibly well. In fact, I recently watched a comparison where they did the FSD beta compared to Google Waymo, and it was able to reach the destination a lot faster than Waymo did, but at the same time, gotta keep in mind, Waymo is level 4 because no one is ready to take over behind that steering wheel, other than people online, of course, but while there are geofences in that scenario, Google is still taking liability for if something goes wrong with that ride-hailing service. If it crashes, it's not the passenger's fault, whereas right now, Tesla is still in level 3, even though it is much better at driving, but they are not taking liability for if these vehicles crash, which is why Elon is saying, be careful, you're still in control of the car, it's still gonna be on you. Even if the software makes a mistake and hits something or hits another car, you have to be ready to take over, and that's why it's asking you to constantly intervene and touch the wheel or touch the screen. Let the software know you're still ready to take over at any time, but the results, in my opinion, are already really promising, and knowing that they could potentially have 20,000 vehicles with this beta within the next 2 to 3 weeks is really hard not to get excited for me, because I think this is the next huge step in autonomy. Everything before the FSD beta, in my opinion, has been kind of incremental improvements on autopilot, like auto park, okay, that's pretty cool, that's to be expected, still kind of not performing that great in today's world, but smart summon, alright, pretty cool party trick, but I don't see people using it all the time. Navigate on autopilot, okay, you can change lanes, you can surpass slower people on the freeway, but this is the first giant leap I've seen in Tesla's autonomous driving software where finally it can handle the turns, it can handle the traffic, heck, it can even drive around parked vehicles on the road that normally are taking up the space where you would drive, and it's doing all this stuff on neighborhood streets, it's doing it on city streets, and if you can bridge that gap and make all those turns and stay between the lines and adjust the speed as you need to, wait for pedestrians, now we're really starting to talk about an autonomous driving system in which you have to intervene very little. And of course, the most exciting part about this is to imagine how good it's going to be around a year from now. And in my opinion, things will really start getting interesting if Tesla starts assuming liability for how the software performs and officially takes it out of beta. I still have a feeling there could be a decent time before they hit level 5, where the car can drive around on city streets with nobody in it, and a time where you don't have to intervene with the car, you just have to sit there, but the 99.99% is requiring Tesla to still have a driver in the driver's seat for those small circumstances where they need a human to take over. I could see lawmakers and regulators requiring that for a while, but personally, this is why I don't consider full self-driving overpriced. I do think it's very expensive, and honestly, if I was in the market for a Tesla, spending $10,000 on a software package would still be pretty hard to justify, but in my opinion, the term overpriced goes hand in hand when there's something that you could get for much cheaper and it would do around the same thing. And in my opinion, no other car on the market that you can buy and use in today's world offers a autonomous driving suite like the full self-driving package. Now seeing them roll it out to more people, and most likely within the next couple quarters it will start to become a standard thing so that everybody who bought FSD or may soon subscribe to it, which Elon has perpetually been saying is a couple months away, everyone can have access to this level 3 autonomous driving capability. Tesla might not assume all liability right away, but still, GM Super Cruise or Rivian's Driver Plus or any of that stuff is not going to compare to what Tesla is offering, and that's why I don't consider it overpriced. It's just an expensive software package, but it is unmatched. I mean, Google Waymo is doing some interesting things within geofenced areas, but you cannot buy those vehicles for yourself. You can pretty much only summon one on and ride around to a couple locations in it, but that's about it. Whereas within the next month or so, we could be looking at 20,000 level 3 autonomous driving vehicles across the country. Unfortunately, I don't think they're bringing it outside of the United States yet. I really hope they do. I know there's people asking for it all over the world, but certainly there's different laws and regulations they have to work with in other countries, so I understand why they're being cautious with this rollout, and there's always going to be some TikTok account that decides to abuse this feature and turn it on and then jump in the back seat and pretend they're sleeping, and that's specifically why Tesla is not rolling out this beta to everyone right away, as much as there's probably a bunch of people out there that are willing to assume liability and say, hey, I won't sue you, I'll sign the waiver, I just want the beta and I'll take over if something goes wrong. Even then, Tesla does not want their cars making headlines because someone turned on full self-driving and it caused a crash. That's bad for the brand, that's probably bad for the stock, and Tesla, of course, wants to prioritize safety here, so they want to avoid that if at all possible. That's why they're being so cautious with this rollout.
And right before I was about to post this video, Elon Musk tweeted again saying that due to high levels of demand for full self-driving beta, they're going to add a download beta button to the service section of the car display in around 10 days. This does not mean that anybody who has full self-driving will instantly be able to install the beta, in my opinion. It's likely just going to put you on the waiting list. I still imagine they're going to be somewhat limited with the rollout, and Elon even himself mentioned availability varies by region due to regulatory approval delays and/or Tesla internal development and testing. So this should make applying to get the full self-driving beta a lot easier than it is right now, which Elon mentioned, let us know if you have FSD, but no one really knew how to let Tesla know. So it sounds like the service department and a bunch of people at Tesla are all now getting spammed by people who want it, but don't worry, don't need to spam them anymore. You'll just be able to tap at a button in just a couple weeks. So that pretty much sums it up. I think this is a really exciting development. This is the future of driving itself, and I think that this is where artificial intelligence and machine learning is being very noticeably and actively solving a daily problem that not a lot of people are talking about. So I can't wait to try it out myself. Thank you all for watching. Hope you have an excellent rest of your day.